Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. Ever since the Ignition update at the end of last year, the Knight of Cygnus Nightwalker has slowly been gaining more and more popularity, creeping its way into the top 10 most played classes. But what makes this class so successful and well liked? That's what we intend to find out today in Why Everyone Plays Nightwalker. Nightwalkers can do a lot of damage, so many Maples play it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next... Okay, it ain't that simple, but it kinda does boil down to that. This class can do so many lines of damage that Nexon had to reduce the amount of lines from one of their attacks so the client would stop stuttering all the time from all the damage lines. Nightwalkers are pretty similar to their Explorer counterpart, the Night Lords, but focus a little bit less on damage and a little bit more on survivability, making their kit better rounded for bossing while still maintaining their high burst damage appeal. Like always, we're going to check out their mobbing and bossing, but first a word from the series sponsor, Awesome. These sponsorships do help keep the channel going, so your support is always greatly appreciated. Awesome is a remote software tool that I've personally been using for a while. Using Awesome, you can connect your phone to your desktop and remote control it from your phone. This allows me, for example, to still do my dailies and log in for events without having to be at my desk. That's what I'm using this program for right now, just for login events and running Monster Park when I'm away from home. I'm currently using the game version of Awesome. With this version, you can create a custom keyboard so I can play MapleStory on the go. Even the more button-intense classes. You can edit your buttons on the fly to suit your playstyle and in case you want to switch games. There's even some pre-made presets available for most popular games. Awesome also has different plans available. The free plan covers remote desktop and files. The pro version contains Android device support and remote CMD, and the game version that I'm using allows for way better controls while gaming and custom keyboard setups. They also have other useful tools like this smart plug that allows you to safely turn on and off your computer once you're done. There also are some hot sales going on right now. Get 20% off for 2 devices and 40% off for 3 devices or more. And if you're not convinced yet, you can use the code appearing on the screen right now to get a free 7-day trial of Awesome Remote Game. This is only for the first 200 people though, so act quickly. Head over to the Awesome website, click on rewards, sign in, and boom, you're done. You can then easily set up your screen mirroring with your QR code. There is a link in the video description and top comment if you're interested. Again, many thanks to Awesome for sponsoring today's video, and now back to the Nightwalker. Nightwalkers are vengeance, they are the night. This class has a bat-themed skill set, which is pretty cool looking, at least in my opinion. I think it definitely helps their popularity. And ever since the Ignition update, they have 2 bat toggles, one for bossing and one for mobbing, which is a nice quality of life change. But the biggest change was that in the past, Nightwalkers would deal more damage in the air, forcing you to always jump attack. But now this was changed to a stacking buff that works whenever you move. This could be a jump or even just walking around, which is so much better. For Nightwalkers, I want to do things differently, and instead of starting with the mobbing like always, I'm gonna start with the bossing. Wow, crazy changes, I know, right? Because I think this is where the class shines the most, and one of the reasons why it's played so much. Nightwalkers have a pretty amazing bossing kit. They can spawn a clone of themselves that attacks for 26% final damage and lasts 30 seconds at level 1, and these numbers go up the higher the skill level is. And the Nightwalker can swap places with the clone to dodge attacks, which is super useful and way better than anything the paper mache Nightlord has. They can use their Shadow Bind attack to deal damage and gain a final damage boost, and their Shadow Spear and Rapid Throw skills are both great for dealing damage. Shadow Spear is that skill that I mentioned that got its lines reduced to help alleviate some of the stuttering issues this skill caused. So they can throw a lot of stars very fast, which does a lot of damage. But their kit is so much more than that. Unlike their Explorer counterpart, they have an invincibility frame skill. This skill is part of your burst though, but there is a panic button that you can press. They have a revive, which also makes them invincible after reviving for a few seconds. They have a shield and heal whenever their bats attack something, so there is plenty of sustain in there. Combine that with a double jump that can be cancelled mid-air for very precise movement, which could be super useful in some boss fights, like for example when you're fighting Vihila. And a backdash without a cooldown that also triggers Dark Side, and that backdash can be used to animation cancel some attacks. Their backdash and Dark Omen skill can also be used to get super stance, so you won't get pushed back from any attacks. And then of course there is Dark Side, which will let you dodge any stuff falling from the ceiling. This class has a lot going for it in terms of survivability and defensive options. Nightwalker even has their own bind, and this class can also do a lot of damage, so it has the complete kit and more, plus a lot of damage added on top of that. And now to get to the less nice part, it can do a lot of damage. Nightwalkers are not thrown into this world with insane base damage. I mean, their damage is fine, but it benefits a lot from higher node levels and better gear. Your burst gets a lot better the higher your nodes are, as this will increase the duration and damage of your attacks, so you need a lot of those, and the same goes for grinding, which changes completely when your bats can start 1 or 2 shotting. But getting to that point, that's the hard part and requires more funding, more patience and more nodes. So, mobbing. Their mobbing is probably not for everyone, at least not earlier on, and especially when you don't have that much funding. Dark Omen doesn't last very long, and the second job mobbing skill, while being better than before, can still feel a little bit underwhelming. Mobbing isn't terrible or anything like that, but the class really peaks when it starts getting that additional funding and all those nodes and node levels. There's one special mention that is really interesting when it comes to mobbing with this class, and that's bite farming. This works even better with a cooldown hat, yay, for even needing more funding, but basically you use your Shadow Bite skill and let your bouncing bats clear out the rest of the mobs, and you just stand still and repeat that while looting every now and then. You're farming while standing still. I always love how Maples will come up with anything to do almost nothing when playing the game, I love it. So it requires even more funding, as having a cooldown hat will help a lot, and you need strong bats, but this class can be super lazy to farm with thanks to your bite farming. And that basically sums up the Nightwalker. Their mobbing is not really that great unless you get a lot more funding, then it gets really good until it even gets super lazy. They have great burst damage, great utility, a theme that's liked by most. And yeah, grinding and farming feels really nice once you get all the funding and nodes required to reach that point. I feel like it's a class that you're really gonna like, and you're really gonna have a little bit of patience, a little bit of perseverance to get to the point where it starts to feel really good. But when it does feel really good, it feels really good. And that's why I think everyone plays Nightwalker. And also, before I forgot to mention it, Nightwalker is gonna get buffed in Savior for some reason. They're gonna be even stronger. So they also got that going for them. But what are your thoughts on this class? Let everyone know in the comments. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, special thanks to our members for making these videos possible. Special thanks to Niels de Coninck, Raar maar waar, Sebastian Hanoi, Jesús Rodriguez, Claudimorda, Ryaiser, Aryu, BackSpaceOTI, Ziggy, Historycanon, Saffronyx, Flidiot, Knivesu, Cloudfix, Tito655, Menchaca, Raythius, Afterlord, Betrayal1489, Sylvio, Neto, StrikerElk, Title 1 Phan, Wictor, Sundström, Mathias, Simonsson, Mr. Anarch, Ben on Games, The Passenger, Knivesu, Max Bernhardt, Muka1017, BNB King, Scotty Flies Fast, Gabriel Eck, Fecko, Vake Botnet, Dante Victory, Mathinu Dev, Snack HBG, Only, Lord Fazil, Pats D. Kaiser, That Archie Guy, Louis Bento Brandao, Snufflepop, Tails Curspet, The Wolf Drake, and Gamber Wolf. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe and happy mapling!